Hi, I'm really glad you're here. I'm Amy, and this is Amy's Wild Cards. This is the podcast where I interview people who I think are my friends with a deck of cards filled with random questions I have created. This deck will be shuffled at the beginning of each interview, and whatever questions come up in whatever order is completely up to fate. We're gonna laugh, maybe cry, possibly be offended. Let's get into it.
All of it, yeah.
Today, my friend Vince is here.
Hi, thanks for having me, Amy. Appreciate it.
Being on, my man. All right, I've been shuffling. I'm shuffling right now. You are in control of your interview, so you can tell me when to stop, or I can choose.
Go 3 more times.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Oh, there's so much just like serendipity in the cards, you know?
What does that even mean? I'm not even sure what that means.
So the cards are out of my control. Like, I wrote the questions, right? But then the order they get put in and the questions that come up for certain people, it's very comical. Like, God is like playing a joke. So this
Okay.
first card, God is like, ha ha ha, fuck you. Ready?
Yep.
You're gonna hate it. When was the exact moment you realized you were in love with me? Describe it slowly.
Shoot. Wow. Let's see. I remember. Because I remember when we both started attending the Monday meeting at
Yeah.
Radford, and remember you walked in one time. I forget who you were with, and I was like, "That's my girl right there."
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Would you rather be funny, smart, or incredibly good looking?
Wow. I mean, I feel like I really value all those 3 qualities. I would probably have to say funny though. I feel like making
Yeah.
people smile is just like, and making people laugh, that's like the spice of life.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
What is something that always brings you joy?
I feel like lately it's been reading actually,
Oh,
which is a very interesting answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I like reading all types of stuff, usually like fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm reading the new Hunger Games book right now, and I like can't put it down every night.
you're not the first person I've heard this from about the Hunger Games book.
Yeah,
right now.
they're starting to make some like kind of prequel books, and the original author is making them. Yeah,
Oh.
the one called Sunrise on the Reaping. Yeah, that's the new one. And
Shout
so
out.
yeah, and I like
Alright.
reading like spiritual books too, like stuff about recovery. I like reading stuff about just kind of personal growth. Like I'm reading a book
Yeah.
on overcoming low self-esteem right now by Nathaniel Brandon, who's like an expert on self-esteem. It's just all kinds of different stuff reading.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. I've definitely gone through periods where like reading is like joyful and fun, and I'm like, ooh, I get to sit down with my book. So
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Are you happy?
I think for the most part, yeah, but I mean, I'm still working on it. I haven't been happy my whole life, and there's still areas in which I'm not happy. But also, I feel like happy, just the word happy, I have a little bit something with it where it's
Great.
like the word, like, I think kind of what I'm targeting more is like sort of like contentment, like kind of when you take a sip of coffee and you're like, like I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
Rather than happy. I feel like happy has the interpretation of like you got to be happy, like you got to live happy. Like it means like you got to be like very excited and
Yeah.
joyful and just having good spirits. But I see it more as kind of like a calm satisfaction is the thing I'm targeting. if
You
that
have
makes
like
sense.
a really like mature approach to it. Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
Interesting. You seem like you've just like spent a lot of time around like older intellectuals.
Yeah, I feel like I have to spend time around older intellectuals because I feel like the wisdom that older people have, the life experience, is something I lack. Obviously, like I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of life experience,
Yeah.
and so I really gravitate towards people with more experience than me in
Right.
any area.
No, that's really wise of you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite mental illness?
Damn, I've never been asked that question before.
I know, who would ask
And I-
that? That's
yeah.
crazy.
I feel like I'm blessed where like up to this point in my life, I really haven't had to struggle with any form of mental illness. So,
Truly
I don't
amazing.
know. I guess I would say anxiety.
That's your favorite one?
Yeah.
Why is it your favorite?
I feel like it's probably the one I relate to the most
Okay.
if I had to. And it's fun overcoming anxiety. I'll say that. Even though it's
Sure.
like it's probably the hardest thing in my life to do. Like I don't
Yeah.
overcome anxiety like nearly 100% of the time, not
Right.
even close. So
But overcoming it is like rewarding.
yes,
You're
it's
kind of
very
saying?
rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever encountered a spirit?
Yes. So
Yes.
this is probably, yeah, I would say I used to be a summer camp counselor at a summer camp, and we used to have a sleepover twice a summer at the it was at this Jewish temple, and
Are you Jewish?
I'm not Jewish.
But you
No.
were.
No,
Got
but it
it.
was at it was like
Okay.
at a Jewish temple school. You know, they had
Okay.
classrooms and stuff. So, and so we used to do a sleepover there. And one night it was kind of our responsibility as counselors, just kind of like peruse the grounds, make sure everything was safe.
Yeah.
Like after the campers had gone to bed, and we were on, like there was this kind of this really really kind of sketchy place at night. Like it's an auditorium, and there's a kitchen right next to it. It's like where they do the Shabbats and stuff like that. And we just like heard this. We just saw this shadow of like this man in a top hat,
Oh.
and like we were like, "What the fuck is that?" And then we were like walking in the kitchen, and we like heard this whistle, and it felt like it was right next to my ear. Like I'm not even joking.
Oh no.
And like I feel like I'm a very kind of like down to earth and like realistic person.
Yeah.
And so like if you're like spiritual, that's kind of all BS. But like this actually happened. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like I'm freaking out right now. So
Scary. And it can. What is a feeling you hate and how do you get rid of it?
I hate feeling angry. I hate feeling angry.
Why?
I've always believed that like when I'm angry, I can't control myself and people will look at me a certain way. Like I'm just like a hot-headed or I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Or like, because I feel like I don't get angry a lot with people. So when I do get angry, people like are like, wow, like Vince is angry.
Yeah.
And I hate when people perceive me like that. Like, wow, Vince is angry right now. And so,
But it's so human to get angry sometimes.
yeah, it is very human. But I've always really not perceived it that way. And yeah, I guess what do I do to not feel it?
Or get rid of the feeling when you do have it.
I mean, in the past, it was just like pushing it down in an unhealthy way.
Right.
But now what I'm trying to like, people kind of gave me some suggestions. Like when you're angry, it might be good. You have to like let it out, you know, maybe like not towards someone.
Right.
But so like, I remember I was angry like earlier this week and I was just punching my pillow and I felt like, and then afterward I felt kind of good. Cause it's like, it's almost like I'm acknowledging that I'm angry as opposed to pretending I'm not and like being annoyed and people can kind of tell, but I'm pretending I'm not, you know?
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Would you date you?
I think if you had asked me that question like 3 years ago, I would have said no. And if you asked me now, I would say like maybe, but like probably yeah. Like I feel like I have a lot of good qualities to offer. So yeah, I think I would.
That's great. Is there anyone you no longer speak to that you would like to speak to again? And what would you say to them?
That's a good question. Could I say someone that I've never spoken to before that I would have liked to speak to?
I would love you to interpret these questions. I really wish.
I think what comes to mind is like my grandfather, who he passed away before I was born, and I've heard a lot of great things about him, and I would love to like have a day with him to like just get to know him and get to talk to him. Yeah.
Do you believe in an afterlife where that might be possible?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that happens. What do you think doing God's will means?
I think what I interpret God's will as is kind of acting. It's kind of acting from I don't really know what God's will is. Like, I can't plan out God's will a lot of the time. I think doing God's will is like acting from a place of peace, I would say. Like that's why God's will is so tough to figure out what it is, because it's
Right.
really moment to moment. It could vary.
Yeah.
But like anytime I feel grounded, I feel calm, and like I feel like myself. So God's will is I think God's will is also putting myself, like taking actions to put myself in those states, like that's like what I think what recovery is all about too. And like, meditating, praying, whatever, like I'm taking actions to put myself in that peaceful spot so that I can act out of it when the time comes.
Because we can hear better from God in that space.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think the way someone drives is indicative of their character?
I would say so. Yeah. Yeah. My friends hate driving with me because I drive so slowly.
Because you're being really safe.
I'm like
and
being
cautious,
very
aren't
safe.
you?
Yeah. I'm a very safe driver and very defensive driver. And people are like, drive faster. Like you're driving like 5 miles per hour into the speed limit right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just chill. All right. Like, why do we need to get somewhere like so fast? Just,
You're such a dad. I feel like you have such dad vibes.
Yeah. I'm glad you get that.
Keep the kids safe in the back.
Yeah.
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 Why did you say yes to being on this podcast?
I get a lot of enjoyment out of being honest and like out of just like being asked spontaneous questions. Yeah.
This is perfect for you.
Yeah. So I was hoping you'd ask me to be on it for a while. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm so glad it worked out. Where is God?
I think in here. I feel God like in my belly when I breathe and stuff. And just kind of, I think it's that, that like sense of peace and calmness that you feel sometimes where when you're in a peaceful state, it just feels like it's like right here. That's what I think of as God.
Like you're pregnant with God.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of fun to think about.
Yep.
How do you think this interview is going?
Okay. I feel like I could be more kind of honest right now, but I'm just in the mood that I'm in,
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we have a kind of a chill vibe going, but
yeah, because I literally just woke up from a nap. Too.
Yeah.
But like, what would more honest look like right now?
I don't know. I mean, I think I might just be being too hard on myself. That's something something I do is I'm very self-conscious and can like nitpick small details.
And this is a great self-conscious environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was what was happening.
Yeah. You're doing great. Why is beauty valuable?
Well, I feel like inner beauty is more valuable than outer beauty. Mm-hmm. And beauty is valuable because it kind of shows how special life is, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a good way to put it.
Beauty just kind of like I see beauty as kind of uniqueness and specialness, Like that's what someone who's beautiful on the inside like comes out in their own unique, special, cool way. And like what makes life so good. If everything was the same, if every person was the same, life wouldn't have the beauty, So it's like
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Cremation, coffin, or sky burial?
Wow, I've never heard of a sky burial
Really?
before. Yeah.
And you've been to college. That's amazing. So a sky burial. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Okay. So they do it in Tibet and some other regions close to Tibet. And it's when you take the dead body of a loved one up to the top of a mountain and you let the birds consume it.
Wow. Wait, so you just bring the body and the birds consume it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's more to it, but those are like the cold hard facts of the situation.
Yeah.
And you watch your loved one
I feel like
get consumed.
I feel like that's kind of scary.
Yes, yes, correct.
I don't know if I'd be comfortable watching my loved ones' like eyes get picked out by a bird.
I mean, it's outside of our culture, you know what I mean? So we're like, oh, but no, it still sounds scary.
Yeah, I would say like cremation.
Really?
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's something about coffin. I feel like coffins are like really expensive and like I don't think normal people think about this, but sometimes I think about like in like a lot like in hundreds or thousands of years there'll be so many coffins with so many people buried like,
Yes.
and I for some reason that just like freaks me out, you
Yeah.
know? Like I'm like I don't want like a ton of the earth to just be filled with coffins and
With
stuff. So I'm
coffins.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, cremation.
This is making me think like how many dead bodies are underground right now?
That's a really great question. Yeah.
And there's probably, so I think the world population right now is a little over 8 billion. Do you know it?
No.
But
That was
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that's right. And our population is going to continue growing for about like 20 more years, and then it's finally going to slow down. So it's the biggest it's ever been. And so I wonder if there's got to be at least 8 billion bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and also like there's probably bodies of just like people who weren't like buried with like ceremoniously, you know, just like
Right.
wars and like if you're talking about bodies under the like yeah,
We're just,
maybe even more like than 8 billion, I would say.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's like, so there's, yeah, yeah, that's a lot to think about right there. I don't think I
Yeah.
like that.
No, me neither.
So let's just
Let's
move
just start
on
cremating
to the
people.
next question.
Yeah.
Oh well, I will say this. So for me, I don't like coffins either. They freak me out. I don't like cremation. I don't want to be burned. I do because I'm gonna be getting so many more tattoos, and it's like what a waste for these tattoos to get burned. But I want to be put into like just like in a organic like linen cloth and just like put into the dirt, and then you could just like plant a tree on top of me. You know,
Well, that's actually something people are doing, I think, more
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
it just feels like the most like organic, like
Yeah. You
back
just,
to earth type of
yeah,
way. Yeah.
for sure.
Um, I don't know why these questions are coming up for you this way, but why are you so obsessed with me?
It's got to be your nose ring for sure.
Yeah, the septum piercing.
And your arm tattoo. Yeah.
I just seem like really tough and really butch.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Would you rather host a party or go to a party?
I would have to say go to a party because I have a fear of responsibility, and I also am a control freak. So I'll always be like thinking like, oh, should I put more chips? Should I put more chips out? Should I like, is this person having a good time? Like that person in the corner looks lonely, and like
Yeah.
I'm hyper vigilant the whole time, and
Sure,
I'm
you
not
can't
gonna,
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which maybe isn't a problem with hosting a party. That's just a problem with me.
No,
Yeah.
I used to host often when I was with my ex-fiance, and I loved it and I wanted to and I planned it that way, but I started to realize this pattern of like when you are hosting, you do get concerned with like of course like what's going on with everyone, is there enough food, this and that. And so then I started finding like more simple ways to host, or I've definitely seen some like older pros host things where like they figure out a way to really enjoy themselves while they're also taking care of business. And if you can have your event catered, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go.
What is the best religion?
Well, that's tough. I mean, it sucks to call any religion the best.
It does.
It really sucks.
I know. Why would somebody?
I'm
ask
someone who believes that
that?
all religions are the same.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like God is just behind all of religions, but they
Uh-huh.
just like see it differently. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
The best religion, fuck. I don't know. I'm just gonna say Christianity because I'm biased because that's what I grew up as.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Are you sorry, go ahead.
like I really like Buddhism a lot too.
Yeah.
At least Buddhist principles and stuff. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's kind of my I guess if you were to define my personal religion, it would be kind of a fusion of like, 12-step Christianity and Buddhism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was gonna ask you. So
Yeah.
okay. Do you like yourself?
No,
Dang.
I'm still working on that part.
Yeah.
I like I like myself more than I did a year ago, and then more than I did 2 years ago, even more, you know. But
That's great.
yeah, I think I'm still not fully there. I still get really I'm someone who gets really angry at themselves. Like
Yeah.
the stuff I say to myself, I would never say to anyone else.
Oh, yeah. But there's, I mean, just like you said, like you're seeing the growth, and so you're going to continue to see the growth. Do you ever do like, have you done any like inner child work?
Not too much, honestly.
Yeah.
I have this small picture of myself from preschool, and my mom gave it to me and said you should put this up on the wall,
Yeah.
so you can start seeing yourself.
Yeah.
And at first, I was like, okay, I'll hang it up. So I hung it up in a cabinet I had, and
And then you
that was closed for like that was closed for like 95% of the time. So I'm like, okay, like it's up, but I don't have to look at it because it's like really cringe and awkward to look at it. But then about a year or maybe like several months ago, I was like, I think it's time for this to come out. So now it's above my bed on my wall. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a picture you like of yourself when you were a little boy?
I would think there probably is. I haven't really thought about it, but like if I were to go back, I'm sure.
Like what if you're the one who chooses that?
That's
picture?
a good call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I see myself liking myself one day. Like
I see it for you too.
Yeah. Like I think that's I believe that that's inevitable. Like I'm going to like myself.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. What is your love language? Would you like me to list them for you?
Yeah. Listen for me.
Okay.
I've done the tests too, by the way.
Yeah. Great. Acts of service, quality time, gift giving, physical touch, or words of affirmation.
I think physical touch and quality time are my top two.
For sure.
Yeah. But I think I think I was kind of like mixed, and then like gift giving was like kind of abnormally the least, and then like all the rest of the four, and then acts of service and words of affirmation that were kind of like the second tier, but like still kind of common.
Right.
But yeah, physical touch and quality time, those are the main ones. Yeah.
Are you nicer to people that you find very attractive?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I need to finish a question.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Why, Vince?
Well, yeah, that's kind of really been a lot of what I'm working on is like why is that, and like I feel like the answer is because like I want something from them.
Yeah,
that's why, and it's superficially, when I say nice, I'm superficially nice, in a lot of ways. But I would say, like, I think the way I kind of more interpret that question is I act differently around people I'm attracted to. Where like I don't know if I even come across as nice. It might seem like weird to some people, or it might seem like I'm trying too hard.
Yeah,
it might seem, or they might think I'm like being really friendly. I don't know, but like I do act differently around people I'm attracted to.
Have I experienced you do this before? Has there been anyone we've been around?
I mean, possibly. I mean, I feel like in the rooms, I'm able to kind of keep it a bit more tame. Yeah. Where like I still feel it on the inside though, like I'm bouncing around, but I'm able to just kind of just reel it in because it's like, because ultimately I know nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
But when there's a potential of it happening with someone, then it's like,
I really want to see this in action.
You don't want to see it in action.
I really do. Okay, last question before our ultimate question.
Okay. Penultimate question.
Exactly. What is the most disgusting taste you've ever had in your mouth?
Wow. I mean, honestly, I feel like I probably had some disgusting stuff. Like I think I've like had cat food before, and that was just like,
I'm sorry, why?
It was, like I'm
like a dare.
It was just kind of like, like I forget the circumstance, but it's just kind of like I haven't tried it before. All right, whatever. but I wasn't like by myself, It was like maybe it was like friends or something, or my family, and they're like, "Oh, I've never had cat food before." Okay, true, cool. But actually, one thing I find disgusting, at least right now in my life, is beer.
Oh,
I actually hate beer.
Unpopular opinion for a man
like
in his early 20s.
Like I was playing Rage Cage at a college party, and I got the bitch cup, and I had to drink. And it was all beer, and I literally almost threw up on the spot. Like I couldn't even finish it. I hated it.
Different types of beer.
Yes,
it's not just IPAs that you hate.
No, it's all horrible. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
All I mean, but I think like the companies like Coors, Bud Light. That's worse than
craft.
Yeah, but all disgusting. Yeah.
All of it's gross. Interesting. Wine, spirits, none of it.
Alcohol just kind of always never tasted good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but that stuff is better than beer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Final question for all of my guests. In our last 3 minutes, exactly, if this is the only surviving audio clip of you left in existence, what do you want people to know?
Um, I think I don't know what's coming to mind is I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable to hear like people. I mean, I think being like suicidal and um, having like mental health issues, and I have friends that deal with mental health issues and suicidal thoughts and stuff and ideation. It just kind of I don't know. For some reason, that always makes me think of like there's just like so much more to life than like it would appear, And I think yeah, like I think people, like people's upbringing, people, deal with mental health issues and mental illness and suicidal ideation just naturally. Like it's just kind of, it's unfortunate, but that's just their life circumstances have caused that, what they were brought up in and the way that what they've been exposed to. But like I just think there's so much beauty to life and like, like I've seen a lot of people, especially in recovery and stuff, who've like been at really low bottoms, been at stuff that would seem like insurmountable to overcome,
Right.
and I think I've had my share of it. I think overall my story is I haven't hit a lower bottom as like a lot of other people in the rooms,
Yeah.
but like, I also know what it's like to come back from some like really embarrassing and
Yeah.
like really hard moments that like I thought would taint my life forever.
Right.
And like it's just amazing to see like so many people have the strength to like come back from things that seems insurmountable at the time, and it seems like how am I ever going to live with this for the rest of my life? Like how am I
Yeah.
ever going to be able to live a normal life with like this in my rear view mirror? And like I guess I would just want to like tell anyone like who's struggling or anyone who doesn't believe that they can do things like, like there's so much more hope. Like there's so much beauty to life that's not even attached to like material things like other people and money and like our possessions. Like there's just you can like anyone can live like a beautiful life with with what they already have, and like part of I think part of living a beautiful life and making the most of life is like acknowledging that there's going to be times that are difficult and
Yeah.
there are going to be like struggles and stuff, and there are going to be like times where you fail,
Yeah.
and like I'm living a lot better of a life than I was, and I still have like a mountain of things to work on, so the fact that like there's stuff to work on and like mountains to climb does not mean that things are hopeless.
Yeah,
They can
totally.
they're not mutually exclusive,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah.
That's amazing. We're out of time. And thank you so much for being here. And I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And we'll see you next week. Bye.